Our lecture today is on techniques in arachnology and entomology, and basically we'll look at the procedure for the collection of insects and arachnids. Then the techniques for the preservation of insects and arachnids will be discussed later. So, as announced, our lecture is on techniques in entomology and arachnology. Now, what is entomology? Entomology basically means the study of insects. Entomology basically means the study of insects, while arachnology means the study of arachnids. Now, what are arachnids? Arachnids basically, what are insects? Let's start with the insects. This entomology, the study of insects. Insects are arthropods that are characterized by the possession of 3 pairs of legs, a pair of antennae, and 2 pairs of wings. And they are segmented. Their bodies are divided into 3 parts. Their bodies are divided into the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. The bodies of insects are divided into 3 parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. And insects basically respire with the aid of the trachea. The trachea that are connected to the they basically respire with the aid of the trachea. And then we also have the arachnids. Arachnids consist of organisms, basically arthropods, that are characterized by the possession of 4 pairs of legs, a pair of pads, and their bodies are divided into 2 parts, the head and the cephalothorax. Examples of insects include the ants, the mosquitoes that disturb us a lot, and the beetles, the weevils, the wasps, and many others. Examples of arachnids include the spiders, the mites, and the scorpions. All right, so having known that, we want to look at the basic equipment that are required for the collection of insects. Now, the collection of insects requires some basic equipment, and those basic equipment include the forceps, which is also you can also see here. The forceps. You also need the vials containing alcohol or other preservatives to preserve the insects or the arachnids that will be collected. Then we also other basic equipment include killing bottles of various sizes. Other basic equipment include killing bottles of various sizes. Now, the killing bottle can be improvised. You can use your mayonnaise bottle in place where you don't have the actual killing bottle. You can use the mayonnaise bottle, Bama, or any other mayonnaise. Then you need small boxes. You also need small envelopes. The small envelopes are used for temporary storage of delicate specimens and for gel caps for tiny specimens. Then you also need 1 or more aspirators. You need 1 or more aspirators. You need absorbent tissue. You need notebook and writing equipment. The notebook and writing equipment are used to jot down notes and label data. So you need those information and those equipment to collect insects and arachnids. You also need a knife or a pair of scissors. You need a knife or a pair of scissors to collect as part of the basic equipment to collect insects. This equipment you're seeing here, this tool that is being pointed by the arrows called the aspirator. We'll discuss more about it later. You also need a small fine brush to collect the insects. The small brush is basically for picking up minute specimens. For picking up very small specimens, use a brush to collect such minute specimens. You also need bags and hand lens. Bags and hand lens are also required to collect the specimen. Now, the collection methods. Now, the method for the collection of insects depends on where the insect is being located and the kind of insect that is being sorted for. And the methods include one, hand collection. One of the methods for the collection of insects is hand collection. The second method for the collection of insects is the use of aspirator or pewter. The aspirator is also called a pewter. You also need collecting nets. Collecting nets are also used to collect insects. And the collecting nets include aerial nets, sweep nets, and aquatic nets. Aerial nets, sweep nets, and aquatic nets. Then you also need beaten sheets. Beaten sheets are also methods for the collection of insects. Beaten sheets are also used for the collection of insects. Then we also use knockdown sprays. Knockdown sprays are also used for the collection of insects. Then extractors. We have two types of extractors. We have the bellies or the children funnel, and we also have the Moskovsky Winkler extractor. Moskovsky Winkler extractor is also used for the collection of insects. Then baits and refuges. Then we have also sifters or sieves are also used for the collection of insects. Then you have traps, various types of traps, a lot of traps. We have the pitfall traps, the light traps, the yellow pan traps, the sticky traps, the paper band traps, the butterfly traps, the pheromone traps, the suction traps, window pane traps. Then we have the menace traps for the collection of insects. Then we also have rearing as the means of collection of insects. So having identified all of these methods for the collection of insects and arachnids, we want to look at the first method for the collection of insects and arachnids. The first method for the collection of insects and arachnids is hand collection. The first method we want to look at for the collection of insects is hand collection, which basically means the use of your hands to collect insects. Just as it has been shown in the slide, you see that some slow-moving insects that are not harmful can be collected with your hand. Just as it is shown here in the slide, you see that this weevil that's commonly found in bitter leaves can be collected with the hands because it is slow-moving and it is harmless, can be collected with the hand. Here is a quick video to help you appreciate how this can be done. A quick video to help you appreciate how this can be done. Because the beetle is slow moving, it can be collected easily by using your hand. And this cannot be used to collect fast moving or poisonous insects. Usually in using this method, it is expected that if you have a hand glove, you make use of a hand glove. But where knowledge of the non-toxic nature of the insects or the arachnid is known, it is still safe to use your bare hands. The next method we want to look at is the use of aspirator or the pewter. The next method we want to look at is the use of aspirator or the pewter. The aspirator, an aspirator is a suction device. An aspirator is a suction device for collecting small insects which are difficult to capture with the fingers or with an insect net by sucking them into a container. The aspirator is a suction device. It is used to collect small insects that are difficult or that are hazardous to capture with the fingers. And they are small, and as such, they can get in through the pipes of the aspirator. Specimens are collected by sucking on one end of the gauze-covered pipe while holding the end of the other tube close to the specimen. Now look at, this is a picture of an aspirator. This is a picture of the aspirator. The aspirator consists of a valve. The aspirator consists of a valve. It also consists of two tubes, one of which has the mouthpiece, and the longer tube has it's the part that is being directed to the insect. And you have, it also has a cover. Now the aspirator can also have some preservatives being included in the inside of it to preserve the insect. And usually wire gauzes are used put in at the end of the pipe that is to be sucked through through the mouthpiece. Now this is a mouthpiece. This is the part that is being sucked, and this other part is kept close to the insect to collect the insect. Now, if you look at this picture, you'll see how what I'm demonstrating, how it can be used to collect the small insects. You can see how the aspirator can be used to collect the insect. You will see that I'm sucking one part, the mouthpiece, and then the other part is kept close to where the insect is. And as you saw, the insect passes through this tube into the container. And then this other part is used to suck in air. The air you suck in, because it is airtight, through the air that draws the insect into the pipe, the insect moves through the pipe into the host, into the valve. The insects now move through the tube into the valve, and then they are being preserved for further identification or use. So that's how we use an aspirator. That's basically how you're expected to use an aspirator. The next method we want to look at is the use of collecting nets. The next method for the collection of insects is the use of collecting nets. We have various types of collecting nets that are used for the collection of insects. Various types of collecting nets that are used for collection of insects. Now, the collecting nets include aerial nets, sweep nets, and aquatic nets. The collecting nets include aerial nets, sweep nets, and aquatic nets. We want to look at the aerial nets. We want to look at the aerial nets now. The aerial nets are used to collect flying insects like butterflies, antlions, flies, dragonflies, grasshoppers, wasps, and bees. The aerial nets are used to collect flying insects. Okay, just as the name implies, aerial, air. They are used to collect insects that are in the air. Now, how is the aerial net used? The aerial net is being swung in the air. When you see the insect, you swing the net. And as you swing the net, the insects fall into the net. And as soon as the insect enters the net, you flap the net over. just as it can be seen in that picture. As soon as the insect enters the net is flapped over. You flap it over in order to prevent the insect from escaping. Now, here is a video on how the net is being used. The video here shows you how the area net is being used. After swinging it through the air, you flap it over. When the net is, after the net has been swung, you flap the net in order to prevent the insect from escaping. You see, when you swing the net, you immediately flap it over, and then the insect is unable to escape. Now we also have the use of sweep net. Just as you use your broom to sweep the floor, this net is used to sweep through grasses and plant foliages, leaves of plants, particularly in the field and grasses, to collect insects. It's used for collecting insects such as bugs, beetles, pseudoscorpions, spiders, parasitic wasps, even grasshoppers specifically too can be collected through this method. Grasshoppers are also collected through this method. And how is it done? The net usually is swung through the grasses. You swing it in the grasses. And as you swing the net in the grasses, the insects enter into the net. And just as you flap the net over in the case of the aerial nets, in this case too, you flap the net over in order to prevent the insects from escaping from the net. Now, this is also another video to show you how the sweep net is used. Now, watch how the net is swept through those plants to collect the grasshopper or the insect. You swing it in the plant to collect the insect. You swing it in the surface of the plant, and then you flap it over. Now, look at this other video too. The net is flapped over. And what do you find inside the net? You see a grasshopper. A grasshopper has been caught from the grasses. A grasshopper is caught from the grasses as the net was swung through the grasses. A grasshopper is being caught in the net. See how the net is being flapped over to prevent the grasshopper from escaping, to prevent the grasshopper from escaping. And then after that, the net, just as it was done, it is also in the case of the aerial net. The net is then, you now take the net close to a killing bottle. You hold the mouth of you quickly hold the mouth of the net that is just around the rim of the net, and then you move it. Use the net to cover the killing bottle while you're holding it tight, and then you gradually open it for the insect to go in. Now look at how it's being demonstrated there. The net is being placed close to the killing bottle, and then the insect is then gradually being released. The grasshopper is gradually released into the killing bottle. You now release the grasshopper into the killing bottle, and then you quickly close the bottle. The bottle is then quickly closed. So that's basically how you use the sweep net. That's basically how the sweep net is used. You sweep it in the grasses, and then when the insects get in, you flap the net over, and then introduce and put the net into a killing bottle. The killing bottle may contain preservatives for the preservation of the insects, or you may just temporarily place it there. Or for the insects to be preserved, you may perforate the cover. It is advised that you perforate the cover of the killing bottle so that oxygen can go in and carbon dioxide can get out. But the perforation should not be too big for small insects to escape. So you perforate the cover of the bottle, the killing bottle, for these insects to escape and to have air that can sustain them for the period you keep them inside the killing bottle. Now I want to look at the next type of net that is used to collect insects. And that net is called the aquatic net. So aquatic nets are also type of entomological nets that are used to collect insects, and also arachnids too that are found in the water. And such insects and arachnids include water bugs, mayflies, caddisflies. Then the aquatic arachnids include the aquatic spiders and others. By towing the net in the water, you put the net in the water just close to the surface, just on the surface, or depending on where the insect you want to collect is, and then you tow it through the water. You drag the net in the water. Now here is a picture of the aquatic net, and that's the water in a pond. You see that the water has some aquatic organisms. Okay, so this aquatic organism, even mosquito pupa and larvae are examples of aquatic insects. They can be collected with the aquatic net. They can be easily collected with aquatic nets. Here are examples of some aquatic insects I snapped while doing my personal research. Here you see the aquatic spider, the water strider, which is an insect. You see that insect, you know that insect that walks on the surface of water, like Jesus Christ. That's a water strider. Then you also have a bug. It is also an aquatic insect that's found in, it's also an aquatic insect. Then you also have the aquatic spider at the bottom. You also see some spider like this water strider. The spider walks on the surface of the water body. So these are examples of aquatic insects and arachnids, but we have so many: mosquito larvae and pupa. You have the dragonfly larva and the pupa. You have the mayfly larva and many others that are found in the water. So insects are not only found in air or in the soil alone or in the grasses alone. There are some insects that are found in the water, and such insects are collected with the aquatic nets. Okay, so that's basically how to collect aquatic insects. Now I want to quickly look at the use of beaten sheets as a means of collection of insects. Beaten sheets. Now there are some insects that are usually not easily caught with the aerial nets, aquatic nets, and the sweep nets. And such insects are collected with the use of beaten sheets. They are hidden in plants, in the leaves of plants. This method is useful for the collection of sessile wingless group of insects like the beetles, the bugs, stick insects, caterpillars, pseudoscorpions, spiders that are well camouflaged or hidden on plants. They are hidden in the leaves of plants. And these ones are usually collected with a beaten sheet. And what does the use of beaten sheet involve? The use of beaten sheets involve the use of the beaten sheet, that's a tray and a handle that's whitish in color and made up of net, a bag that's made up of net. Then you also need a stick. Now the stick is used to hit the leaves of the plants, and when the leaves of the plants are hit with the stick, the insects and the arachnids fall into this sheet, the beaten sheet. and they are then collected with either the aspirator or are transferred into the killing bottle. Some of them are even collected by hand. You can even collect some of them by hand. You can even collect some of them by hand. Those ones that you know that are not harmful, you collect them and introduce them into the killing bottle. So the next method we want to look at is the use of the knockdown spray. The use of the knockdown spray. Some insects that are also hidden in the crevices or in places that are not accessible with the nets or the beaten sheet, you can use knockdown sprays, which are pesticides or insecticides, basically. When you spray these things on the insect or the arachnids, they fall into the insecticide, the pesticide that you can use is basically what we call synthetic pyrethroid. Now, this insecticide makes the insects kills the insects immediately, and they fall into a white sheet that is placed underneath. It falls into a white sheet that is placed underneath where the insects are.